The film begins in Bristol, England on Christmas Eve. The real Santa is in a pub, drinking the night away before getting back to delivering presents. He talks to a Santa from a nearby shopping mall who is happy to do his job, but Old Street Nick is jaded and disillusioned as people only want presents and are becoming more and more naughty. Just before he leaves, Santa leaves a gift for the grandson of the bartender, who is confused as to how he knows about him. She follows him to the roof to admonish him, thinking he is just another drunk. But when she looks up to the sky, she sees Santa Claus driving away in his sleigh, pulled by his reindeer. Just as the bartender is marveling at the fact that Santa is real, he throws up over the side of the sleigh, which lands on her face. In Connecticut, Jason Lightstone meets with his estranged wife Linda and their daughter Trudy. While the two parents try to give Trudy a nice party, they are having a hard time. The three head to Jason's family's mansion, as the Lightstones are incredibly wealthy. His mother Gertrude is a gruff CEO of her company, while Jason's sister Alva is desperate for her mother to pay attention to her, believing Jason to be Gertrude's favorite child. She is joined by her dim-witted actor boyfriend Morgan Steele and her obnoxious teenage son Bert. Santa goes through the Christmas season with extreme disdain, putting things like money in stockings and other useless gadgets and gimmicks. He eats the cookies and milk left for him, but he also helps himself to other people's alcohol. When he gets to the Lightstones' house, he uses their massage chair. Jason and Linda decide to let Trudy open a present early, a pair of walkie-talkies. As they leave her room, they hear her talking on them as if she were talking to Santa Claus, saying that her only wish for Christmas is for her parents to get back together. Jason and Linda look regretful. A team of mercenaries posing as employees begins their plan when one of the mercenaries, Gingerbread, takes out the head of security. The leader, Scrooge, kills the man at the front gate before entering the Lightstone home and rounding up his other mercenaries to take the family hostage. According to Scrooge, Gertrude had hoarded $300 million to be distributed to the Middle East, and the money is in a safe somewhere in the house. Santa hears the gunshots and tries to escape, but he is spotted by a thug named Tinsel. He tries to knock Santa down, but Santa gets up and fights back. The shots from Tinsel's gun scare the reindeer and it flies away, leaving Santa on the run. In the ensuing fight, Santa and Tinsel fall out the window, but while Santa is unharmed, Tinsel is impaled by an icicle. Not having enough Christmas magic to get him out of there, Santa goes to the front gate and finds the operator dead. Trudy then speaks into the walkie-talkie, as Santa has picked up the other one to call for help. When she asks him for help, Santa decides to stay nearby. Another mercenary, Frosty, bumps into Santa as he makes it back to the house. They engage in a brutal fight in which Frosty tries to stab Santa, but Santa is able to defend himself with his magical sack full of presents. Santa grabs the star from the Christmas tree and pokes it into Frosty's eye. Then he sticks it into an electrical socket so that the star electrocutes Frosty and sets his head on fire. When Scrooge tries to contact his mercenaries, Santa answers Frosty's walkie-talkie and tells Scrooge that Frosty is dead and the rest of them soon will be too. Scrooge sends his people in search of Santa Claus while taunting the Lightstones. He has his henchwoman Candy Cane torture Jason by breaking one of his fingers with a nutcracker, and then tries to use a larger nutcracker for his real purpose. Before they can hurt Jason further, Trudy steps in and yells at the villains, claiming Santa is there to help them until Jason explains to her that there is no such thing as Santa Claus and that parents put Christmas presents under the tree and say they are from him. Trudy runs away crying and hides in the attic while the villains chase her. She talks to Santa again over the walkie-talkie, and he proves that he really exists by listing the various gifts she has wanted over the years, restoring her faith in the man. When she mentions the bad guys, Santa looks at his naughty list and sees all their names there, while confirming to Trudy that she was always on the nice list. Scrooge continues to mess with the family by having the adults give Gertrude her presents. Morgan makes her a business proposal to boost his career, which Gertrude is clearly not interested in, while Alva gives her a framed picture from the day she was born, which Gertrude also has little interest in. Then they grab Jason's gift, a bottle of whiskey, and a note he does not want Gertrude to see. She reads it, but then says that what's on the note can stay between the two of them. Santa finds Candy Cane and tries to stun her, but a toy Santa is activated and blows his cover. She alerts Scrooge, who sets off with gingerbread to find Santa, who is under the attic. The villains knock him out, tie him up, and want to know who he really is. Santa then tells the villains their real names and the things they wished for when they were children. Scrooge reveals his hatred for Christmas because his family could not afford to celebrate it when his father was laid off. He tried to steal presents from a neighbor's house, scaring his grandfather, causing him to fall down the stairs and break his neck. From the attic, Trudy creates a diversion by throwing styrofoam through the vents to create fake snow. This briefly causes the villains to believe in Santa Claus and gives him a chance to use his magic to shoot his way down the chimney and escape. Morgan tries to escape by jumping out the window. This happens just as Gertrude's rescue team arrives to save the family. Unfortunately, Morgan learns that they are working with Scrooge after the leader, Commander Thorpe, orders his men to kill him. Scrooge talks to Thorpe and warns him about Santa Claus. Santa then sees more villains' names appear on the naughty list, which means he has more work to do. While Santa is planning his next move, he talks to Trudy about who he used to be. Centuries before, he was a vicious Viking warrior named Nicomund the Red and used his powerful hammer Skullcrusher to destroy his enemies. Although he has since tried to give up his murderous instincts, Trudy encourages him to use those skills for himself. Just as the rescue team begins storming the house, Santa finds a nearby sledgehammer in the basement and begins pulverizing the thugs. Trudy sets traps under the attic reminiscent of Home Alone as Gingerbread and Candy Cane come after her. Gingerbread steps through a broken ladder rung, causing his chin to be impaled by a nail. Candy Cane tries to beat him to it by climbing over him, and she manages to see most of Trudy's traps coming, though the girl still hits her with a couple of bowling balls. One of them rolls out of the attic and hits Gingerbread, causing him to fall butt first onto a pile of nails. He pulls out a nail, but then another bowling ball falls and hits the nail in his skull, killing him. Candy Cane goes after Trudy until Santa comes and cracks her skull before saving Trudy. Scrooge and Thorpe go under the house and find that Gertrude's safe has been emptied. Enraged, they confront Gertrude and hold Linda at gunpoint until someone speaks up. This forces Jason to stand up and admit that he stole the money to run off with Linda and Trudy to live a better life and distance himself from the rest of his family. He put that on the letter to Gertrude too, hoping she would see him the next morning before she realized what he had done. When the villains are called away, the henchman Krampus threatens to kill Linda, Alva, or Bert. The three argue over who should be shot, which leads to them distracting Krampus so Alva can throw wine down the chimney behind him to stun him. The three then pummel the Krampus until Alva drives a poker into his neck. Santa then takes Trudy back to Linda. Scrooge and Thorpe take Gertrude with them and make their escape. More thugs show up, but the other Lightstones fight back. While Santa chases Scrooge, Jason and Linda fight the remaining crooks in a nativity scene. After killing the last crooks, Jason and Linda kiss passionately, which Trudy happily notices. Santa uses a snowmobile to pursue the villains. He kills the remaining crooks before pushing Thorpe off his snowmobile and then attacking Scrooge. The two engage in a brutal fight in which Scrooge uses every weapon he has to gore Santa. He then finds the naughty list and sees his name on it, which finally convinces him that he really is Santa. Scrooge says that his death would mean the end of Christmas. But now that Scrooge believes this, it gives Santa enough magic to climb up a nearby chimney, dragging Scrooge with him and crushing his body on the way up so that parts of Scrooge are shot out the top. Just as Santa feels victorious, Thorpe shoots him 4 times and prepares to execute him until Gertrude, who has grabbed a nearby gun, shoots Thorpe one in the head. The other Lightstones arrive and try to help Santa. Jason burns some of the money to keep him warm, despite Alva's protests. It looks like Santa is going to die until Trudy tells him that she still believes in him and always will. Linda then says that she believes in him because Santa saved her family, and Jason follows suit. Bert, Gertrude, and Alva reluctantly join in and allow Santa to be revived. Santa thanks the Lightstones, who return his gratitude, and he finds the reindeer returning with his sleigh, along with the original Skullcrusher and a note from Mrs. Claus. Santa says goodbye to the Lightstones and flies off into the night to continue his Christmas duties. During the credits, Bert makes a TikTok video over the body of a dead mercenary to let his followers know that Santa really exists.